Very excited to talk to our next guest. It's actually been a while since we've had him on the program, and for a minute I thought maybe he was getting too busy for me. He's on Fox every week. He's on TMZ. He's got his own podcast. He's a very busy guy doing movies, but he has carved out some time for us. He has squeezed us into his very busy schedule. He is the reigning defending UFC welterweight champion. He is the one and only Tyron Woodley. He joins us via the magic of Skype. Oh, there he is. Tyron Woodley, how are you? I think your screen is frozen.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How are you? You're frozen, yeah. What happened?
I'm still frozen?
You're still frozen, yeah. I mean, it's cool and all. I just see your eyes. Beautiful eyes. No, still frozen.
Well, let me dig into my handy dandy Wi-Fi and see if I can change it.
Okay, well, just I'll just talk to your eyes because it's just like the top half of your face.
Just talking to my eyes.
Yes, I could get lost in them if we're being honest. Should we just power through this? What should we do? What's that?
Let me try something real quick.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Okay. Let me try something. I put it on Do Not Disturb because I don't want somebody
to call you, bother you, text you.
Tell me if you can see me now.
No. Still the same.
Can you see me?
Still the same frozen.
Dang.
And you're in a car now?
I say we just do this.
Okay, that's fine.
I say we do this.
All right.
We just look at my steel frame and go.
All right, that's cool with me. Yeah, I just want to talk to you. Seeing you is a bonus. I don't know what happened. This has never happened before, but we could power through it. It's all good. All right, there's a lot to talk to you about. I don't want to waste any time. When were you approached, Tyron, about the possibility of fighting at 219 against Nate Diaz? When did this all start from your perspective?
Maybe a week or so ago. They were just talking about, where I was at with the shoulder surgery. For you guys that didn't know, I tore my labrum in the first round of Damian Maia, and I just kind of powered through the fight, got the job done. And I've had a labrum surgery before on my left shoulder. I wasn't such a fan of it, so I was really looking for every other way around it, rehabbing, potential stem cell, PRP, things of that nature, to maybe avoid the surgery at all costs. And still wasn't 100% decided on whether or not I was going to get the surgery. And then they were talking about a fight for Nate, and I'm like, he wants to fight either Conor or he wants to fight for a belt. I said, well, why don't he just fight me for the belt? And they were like, let me see if I can make it happen. So now we're still seeing if we can make it happen, I guess.
Oh, really? There's still a possibility it happens?
I don't know. I mean, he said it wasn't enough time. He said I was a welterweight. He was a lightweight, even though he's fought at welterweight before, and he fought Conor at quote-unquote welterweight. It sounds like a lot of excuses to me, but you know what? I'm not gonna call out a man. Maybe it wasn't enough money on the table. I can't go on record because I don't know for 100% sure, but I believe a part of them trying to go back to him and ask him about the fight again, they would have to go with more money, because if you call and ask him with the same money, the same fight date, the same opponent, and you don't have more money, then you basically just asking him again, and he's already said no. So I think at one point he might have said, no, he's too big of a welterweight, and I need more time to train, I need more money. And if they went back to him, I'm assuming they offer more money. So hopefully they offer him a crap load of money and we get the fight done.
So I was under the impression after they booked the Holly Holm Chris Cyborg fight that was sort of an indication that the fight wasn't happening. But are you actually preparing for December? No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm preparing for 219.
Oh, you are?
I'm training for 219 right now. Yeah, I am.
Oh.
Yeah. I just left for the gym as we speak. That's why I'm in the car.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you are preparing for December 30th.
Yeah. You said, oh, wow. Did you talk to Nate? Did he tell you something different?
Well, I mean, just excuse me, the discussions that I had seemed like there wasn't much of a pulse to the fight, and that's why they went back. I mean,
why don't we just call Nate? Don't you got his number? Why don't we just call him?
I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would want me to do that. To put him on the spot.
Why don't we just call him and then just get on? Let's just ask right now. It's not like I'm saying, hey, let's do freaking the old Western you pull out your revolver, I pull out my revolver, and somebody's gonna get shot and killed. I'm talking about fighting one person gonna win, one person gonna lose. It's a sport, right?
If you don't get Nate on December 30th, are you gonna fight someone else, or is it Nate or bust?
I'm gonna get my shoulder surgery if I don't. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like there's no like put it like this, including myself. There's not a bigger name at 170 than Nate Diaz right now. The only bigger name that was a bigger name because of what he's done before his brother is Nate or Georges St. Pierre, who none of which have agreed to fighting at 170 again. So with that said, it will be silly for me not to entertain a fight. I didn't ask for the fight. The fight was offered to me. I just said yes to the fight.
It's so interesting because on the one hand, after your win over Damian Maia, it said, and you were on the show, of course, like, oh, you didn't have a good fight. We're taking away the George fight. And then they need a title fight. Who do they call? The injured champion.
Who do they
save the day.
Call? Who do they always call?
You had
always the guy that gets the call.
You must have chuckled, right?
I let bygones be bygones and I'll be a professional. Huh?
You must have chuckled, though, when you got the call, right?
I'm going to make a lot of money, so. No, because I'm going to make a lot of money, so the joke's on the person writing the check, so I'm good.
Okay. And how bad is the shoulder? I mean, would it be a mistake to fight with an injury, or are you saying that, you consider Nate not the toughest opponents that you can fight him with one shoulder?
I consider Nate not the type of grinding grappler, static strength opponent that will present those problems. Someone that's going to be in the clinch, defend the takedowns, going for a lot of shots, throwing a lot of power at Nate. I think that's how you lose to Nate, when you just try to one-punch shot him, because he has a strong chin. Him and his brother shown time and time again. They're volume punchers. They're cardio fighters. They try to do the mental warfare within the octagon and before the octagon. So, really ever throw overhand rights to beat him. You know what I mean? I think I can stop him without my signature overhand right punch. He's not going to try to take me down. I don't necessarily have to take him down, but if I wanted to, I can't see it being much of a fight for him to stop me from taking him down.
So what do you say, Tyron, to people who say, like, look, you weren't willing to fight, but now you're going to fight this money fight? If you're willing to fight, then why don't you fight someone else? Why just this one guy who historically has been a smaller guy than you?
Yeah, but it's the risk and reward. I mean, if he would have beat Conor the second time, it was like, oh my God, but Conor. If Benjamin would have beat Georges St. Pierre, they'd be like, oh, but he's really a welterweight. If someone's going up to the weight, and especially if they competed at the weight before, where's the problem? There's no problem when it's Dillashaw talking about coming down fighting Demetrius Johnson. He's fought at welterweight before. It's not like he's a tiny guy and I'm overpowering him, I'm overwhelming him. I'm just a big welterweight in general. There's not a lot of welterweights that are bigger than me, just pure size-wise anyway. So it's not like I'm just trying to bully on the poor Nate Diaz. I got to offer the fight. I'm just trying to make it happen, and I'm just really curious on why it's not happening. What's his logic behind not fighting me? He got the same notice of the fight camp I got. And actually, if I'm mistaken, I just saw him do some type of Ironman contest, about a week ago. So he got to be in cardiovascular shape. It's not like he's going to fight a new training style that he can't get ready and prepare for. He's going to fight the same Stockton style every time. I mean, he's never changed his game plan, never changed his style. So what else is he going to do differently? Why is this fight not taking place? UFC needs a big headlining main event, or one of that big shows. They do a big fight in March, big fight in July, big fight at the end of the year. Man, they need this fight, and I think they should put the money up to make it happen.
When's the last time you got an update about the fight?
I talked to my manager Malky this morning. He said, we should know within 24 hours.
Oh wow, okay, wow. There's a pulse.
I didn't hear no yet.
Okay.
Until I hear no, I'm not going to stop training. So it sounds like when they say 24, I assume 48. Maybe a little longer. 48, 72 hours, because sometimes, the Diaz brothers aren't known to be the greatest negotiators. with returning phone calls and, coming to terms on deals. So 24 hours to them could be 3 days. So, this is my job. But I'm going to complain about training.
Yeah.
I love training, especially when it's an opponent that I respect, somebody that brings some type of threat to me, give me that anxiety and make me pumped up to train. So, yeah, I'm living life, and, I'm excited to finally. I've been looking for that name, man. This would be that first opponent I get to fight that, I get that high-profile fight and it actually means something. The Carlos Condit was a high-profile fight, but, those guys went into having a huge star power. Neither was Robbie Lawler. Neither was, some of the other guys I fought and beat. But this is a guy that is directly connected to his brother Nick, directly connected to Conor McGregor. So it could really set me up to fight one of those guys afterwards.
Tyron, how is it possible that the UFC is going to St. Louis and you're not going to be on the card?
I think it's just, unfortunately, obviously I'm injured. Second thing is it's not a pay-per-view card.
Right.
And,
but they have.
It's silly for me not to fight on pay-per-view.
No, I know that. I know that, but they have a champion who represents that city so well and who's tied to that city. If you're going to go for pay-per-view. Isn't that what you want? Like, don't you want to fight at home?
I agree.
Isn't it somewhat...
Go for pay-per-view and let me know you're coming so I can put myself in position to be ready to headline that card.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's like going to Cleveland and doing a fight night.
It's the big fight on that card is me and Robbie. If me and Robbie had fought in St. Louis, because Robbie has a huge following in St. Louis from the Strikeforce days and owning a gym close by. Had we been opponents at the time we were last year, we would have sold that show out pretty easily in St. Louis.
Man. There's no chance you fight on that card, right? If you don't fight on December 30th, you're not going to fight on a fight night.
Nah, no chance. I mean, who am I going to fight? Like everybody's putting the infrared on me. Like, I used to be that guy. I'm not disrespecting those guys, but there's nobody that's a clear contender right now. It's a lot of people that are talking, and it surprised me because I know you want to ask me about the guest that was on earlier. What is his name? I forgot his name.
Holly Holm?
I know you want to ask me about him, but it's a lot of guys that are talking. But really, let me do the resume check. Give me your cover letter. Give me your resume, and I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look up at you, and I'm gonna say, sit down somewhere.
We had Chael Sonnen on the show earlier, and he brought this up on his own, saying, and you actually just said it. You used to be that guy. You used to be the one, putting your finger in everyone's chest, calling out Carlos Condit, hitting up the UFC, saying that you wanted that fight. What's it like now being the guy that people are coming after? Because you really were that guy, right? I mean, you made a lot of noise when you were trying to get those big fights.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I'm not Carlos.
I think we lost him. Since we're doing phone anyway, we don't have to do it on Skype. Are you there?
It makes so much sense for me to do that the fans are going to get behind it. Outside of that, can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you for a second, but now you're back. You're back. Yep. I hear you.
Okay. I say, yeah, I'm the champion now. So at that time, Carlos Condit didn't have to fight me. He was ranked 1. I was ranked 11. He could have said, nah, man, this dude's not even ranked in the top 10 yet. He could have easily said that. And maybe he should have. And I'm in a situation where if there's not a clear-cut contender or not even a super fight, just a fight that does something for me, that pumps me up, like George St. Pierre, one of the Diaz brothers, the Conor McGregor fight. If it's not one of those fights, then it has to be a clear-cut contender. Who's a clear-cut contender right now? There's not one. So they have to shuffle the deck. You look at Stephen Thompson, who looked great against Masvidal. I've already fought him twice.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to watch me and Maya fight again. Jorge Masvidal, which, could have been a fun fight. Donald Cerrone, which could have been a fun fight. It's just a tough division, man, and you never know how these styles are going to play out. And I've beaten a lot of guys in the top 10.
So your ATT teammate is nowhere on that radar.
Who is that? He ain't no teammate of mine. He ain't no teammate. He's not a teammate of anybody of human race because he is a complete moron.
So, I keep it real, Tyron, and I said that I think that this is a gift from God for you because everyone will be rooting for you. Everyone will want to see you shut this guy up. Everyone will want to see you beat him up. How come you don't view it the same way? I feel like this is a perfect scenario for you. You'll be 100% beloved going into this fight.
Because I'm not in this sport to be beloved. I'm in this sport to be a legend. I'm in this sport to capitalize and maximize. When you got a person who had 5,000 followers until he disrespected the entire country, he doesn't quite put himself on that same radar. We got a person that fabricates and makes up stories. Chael Sonnen was good at it. Michael Bisping is good at it. Conor McGregor is the best at it. If you're gonna go that road, brother, at least sound right. Don't on one hand be I'm this tough guy, and your script sounds stupid. Like what fight fan said, okay, I'm going to buy this guy saying he's going to take you down so much he's watched your soul leave your body. They don't even like wrestling in MMA. Fans want to see blood and knockouts. They don't want to see some guy just take somebody down over and over again. So I just find it really corny. And yeah, his work. He talked himself into the Damian Maia fight and Dong Hyun Kim, two guys. I wrote the book on Maia. He went out to check it out at the library. Checked the book out, read it, went out there and got bloodied by a jiu-jitsu guy, and now he thinks he's supposed to fight for a title. Sit down somewhere.
Have they asked you about him at all, or no?
Himself.
Have they even tried?
They know better than that. They just letting him have his fun. Like this dude's talking about the money fight, and he like not even to be arrogant or whatever. He's never seen a 6 or 7 figure paycheck in his life. Like as he's fighting, I can sit there and watch television and get pay-per-view check that come in that was maybe 5 to 10 times the amount of his entire purse. So why would I sit there and try to put him in a position to finally get to the point where he's making the 6-figure payday? Like that's not my job. He has to do that. In the old school way, look at Carl Usman. How's he doing it? He's doing it by fighting guys. He's looking for a fight. He's not faking like his foot hurt. Colby Covington can fight him right now, December 30th. But Colby said his foot's hurt. You know what I mean? So I just don't have no respect for guys like that. And I think it's a very disgraceful to our sport. It was built on hard work, guys taking big fights, you used to have to be like 10-0 before you got in the UFC. Remember those days?
Yeah.
You got the quote unquote call.
Yep.
And I just remember when he was at my gym in training camp, and I like to let the things in training camp stay in training camp, but it is so hilarious. So many eyewitnesses, so much video. Like I don't know if you remember that my gym is cameraed, so many videos of training that it's just funny that he would just go on this rant because he knows. I told him personally. I said, hey man, I gave you your one shot on Fox. Do whatever you want to do with it. If this is how you feel like you need to make a name, have at it. Do what you need to do. I said, but I'm not gonna give you the time of day. I'm not gonna. This is actually the first time I've ever said something about it.
Oh,
Ariel, you just got a way of getting somebody to say stuff. But yeah, I just told him, I said, hey, man, if that's what you got to do, I'm just letting you know I'm not gonna give you the time of day. He said, oh, okay, and, I'm just trying to build a fight, man. I'm just trying to make us both money. I'm like, I'm already making money. What are you talking about? You don't need to help me. I'm making money. I'm making more money on Fox than you making fighting. So why would you need to help me out?
What was the Fox thing that you said you gave him the opportunity on Fox? What was that?
No, they mentioned him about fighting me.
Oh, I see.
And I just basically said, when I'm looking at down the scope and I'm looking at through my sniper rifle, you're not in the crosshairs. There's so many other fighters that are right in that mix that I'm looking at. The guys that are fighting, maybe rematches and former champions from different divisions and people that are really running through. It's a lot of hungry guys, and he's in that category of guys like Darren Till, Carl Usman. He's right in there, but the difference between him and them, those guys are doing it with their gloves. They're doing it with their action. He's just thinking that he's supposed to talk his way into a title shot, and it's sad that our sport, does that. And I saw it when he came to my gym. he was like, "Oh, I need a manager that's gonna pay me to manage me. I need a manager to pay me $40,000 to manage me. I need to be in the UFC right now." At that time, he had like one fight. He wanted me to like tell him how to get sponsors and use my media kit. I'm like, dude, you need to sit down somewhere. I mean, some of his sponsors are from me, so it's kind of funny. Like, ask him. Some of his sponsors are from me, and they stopped sponsoring him because he's a complete moron. He makes the sport look horrible.
Do you think there's any chance
he should have been suspended for what he said about Brazil?
You think so?
I think so for sure. Ariel, let me have said that.
Yeah.
Imagine Tyron Woodley saying that. I might have got kicked out of the UFC. Imagine me saying that. Come on now, be for real. Tyron Woodley say that on the microphone. You think that's gonna go by under the radar? And then now you the guest appearance in other fights, and even more embarrassingly, you want to press charges because you got hit with a boomerang. Dude, get out of here. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say he's in my weight class.
You ever asked Dan Lambert to sever ties with him?
You know, Dan Lambert said, if I kicked off every, I'm trying to use the right word, every douchebag on the team, then we may be having only 3 or 4 guys left. So MMA, just the way that the sport is built, the way that it's set up, people think this is a way to make money. What they don't recognize is Conor's deal. He actually lives up to most of what he says. He's not undefeated, but he put himself in really great positions. Had he lost to Nate 10-day notice, different fighter, different opponent, he still looked clutch because he took a fight anytime, anywhere, right? He lose to Mayweather. Not that big of a deal. The greatest boxer of all time to many people. Hey, he go up and fight Eddie Alvarez. Different weight, going for 2 belts. If he lose, he still got a belt. He's still on pay-per-view. All his moves make sense. All his choices make sense. So he can do that. He can talk the talk. He can walk the walk because 80-90% of the time he actually lives up to what he says. So when all these other fighters try to use his rubric, but they don't even know, they don't even know like the history behind it and why he does what he does, they sound silly. So I mean, Dan for the first time, I think he went out there and said, he hates the stuff that Colby says, especially about, Brazilian fighters, so many Brazilian fighters at American Top Team, what he said about me, especially what I've done for the sport in our division and also for the American Top Team. Like when he was the up-and-coming wrestler import, I was like the guy was like, oh, look, Colby's here. He's a wrestler too. Kind of show him the ropes kind of deal. And it's like no respect, man. Like I remember when I paid him for training camp, that was all the money he had to his name. But I gave him, it was his whole life savings, but I paid him in training camp. It's like just the irony of this guy.
Last thing for you, Tyron, and again, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. Better chance.
And I know I said I wasn't going to talk Colby, but you made me feel bad. Not being on the show in a while, and I turned you down. So I let you. Hey, this is the first time. So fans, if y'all want to hear about the Colby deal, this is it. I ain't saying this shit no more. We ain't going on and on about this guy. He's doing what he feels he needs to do to try to get it. But I'm telling you, sometimes people ask for something that they don't want. If he actually gets himself in a position to be across the octagon for me, 1, 2, 3, whatever fights it takes him to get there, I promise you it's not going to end well for him. He's never going to fight again.
Better chance of happening next, Tyron Woodley versus Nate Diaz or Tyron Woodley versus George St. Pierre?
Nate Diaz.
Okay. Where do you put it at right now?
George St. Pierre blatantly don't want to fight me. I think it's embarrassing to the sport. Once again, I think it's fine that George comes back and fight super fights and money fights. I think he deserves it. I think there's no shame in his game. The only shame I have, the only thing I've always said is that he's not honest with it. He's not here to run the deck at 185. He's not here to get back at the top of 170 and take on all these newcomers. He's not with that. He's here to fight, maybe Conor, maybe Anderson, maybe some fight that makes sense is going to make him a lot of money, and then he's going to walk away.
All right. Well, I hope you get a big fight next. I know that there's a lot of people that love to see you shut up Colby Covington. I think it would be a fun build. I think it would be good for your career.
But he actually shutting himself up. Like, I think he embarrassed himself enough that, that boomerang thing kind of blew up in his face. I mean, the Twitter response of that alone is comical.
Thank you, Tyron. I appreciate you talking about it, even though you didn't want to.
I know I didn't want to. Hey, real quick question though: is he really pressing charges on Fabricio?
Yeah, he is.
He's dead ass pressing charges.
Yes.
He should be kicked out the UFC. Make that the headline. Tyron Woodley says Colby Covington should be kicked out of the UFC for pressing charges for somebody air tossing a boomerang in a plastic bag at his shoulder.
All right. He by the way, he did say that he was punched in the face too. So we didn't know that until today. That's what he claimed.
Well, he deserved to be. He lucky. That's all he got. If he was in Brazil, they probably would have drug him in the alley and beat him with a bat.
I'm glad you're back on the show, Tyron. It broke my heart that you said no, but I'm glad that we're back.
All right.
Thank you, Tyron. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck getting that fight. There he is, the UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, stopping by. A lot to talk to him about. As always, we appreciate his time.